welcome back to Royalty Soaps. It is July, my birthday month. Oh, by the way, my name is Katie. And so for my birthday month, I'm making a bunch of soaps that I either enjoy making or I am really like inspired and truly love the thing that I'm basing the soap after. So it's rainbows today. I love rainbows in real life, but I really like rainbows in soap. I did a rainbow drop soap last month. I will leave a link for that somewhere, maybe down below, maybe in the upper right hand corner, I don't know. But I wanted to do a rainbow high top soap, and I've seen a lot of like frosted soaps that have the stacked rainbow layers and then white frosting like clouds and then like glitter and stuff, but I want to make rainbow frosting. So the inside's going to be white. It's going to have some melt and pour little bits and bobs all the way up to the top. And then it's going to have rainbow frosting and some little soap gumballs. I've never frosted a full rainbow like before. Pray for me. But I think it's going to be amazing. So if you aren't following me on Instagram, I have two, one for Royalty Soaps and one for personal stuff, like, you know, Target shopping pictures. And without further ado, let's get on into the video. I just mixed up my titanium dioxide into my lye water because this entire soap base is going to be a very, very snow white, like super, super white. So now I'm just going to pour that down my stick blender here, all the way into my bucket of oils. The bucket that I'm using and the recipe I'm using are down in the description box below. And now I'm gonna blend on low until everything is emulsified. Now that everything is blended and super creamy, it's time to add the fragrance oil. So today we are using new rainbow sherbet. By the way, do you say sherbet or sherbet? My dad always corrected us when we were kids for saying sherbet, and now I only say sherbet, and I think that's how you're supposed to say it, but down south, nobody says that, and I get made fun of all the time. Ugh, this fragrance oil smells so good. I think rainbow sherbet's kind of a hard scent to nail because it really has like three primary fragrances. It's got strawberry and lime and orange, but this fragrance oil does a pretty good job of getting close. I've hand blended in the fragrance oil to keep my soap batter nice and runny. So now I'm gonna pour off some of it into this white bucket, and this is just to make pouring into the molds easier for me so I'm not having to pour it out of this big container. And now we can start pouring into the molds and begin our design. First things first, these are my two 17 bar brambleberry molds that I have lined with a silicone liner. So I'm gonna start by putting in about this much white, just enough to kind of, I guess, hold up the little embeds that I'm gonna be putting in. Alright, so the first color we're putting in is purple, and these have all been chopped up into little bitty pieces. These are glycerin soap pieces, but you could just as easily do cold process if you wanted to. It's about 6 ounces total, so I am going to put them in all down the soap mold here. Some of these will probably sink down to the bottom just because my soap is really runny, but that's okay. The first layer of all the little soap cubes are in, so now I am just pouring a little bit of soap onto the top. This is just to kind of separate the layers out a little bit, and because it's still runny, it's gonna move the little pieces around, and that's not a big deal. The whole point is basically just to keep the purple and the blue from mixing together too much. So the layer of white has been put on, so now I'm going to put on some blue pieces, and we're essentially just going to keep alternating colors until we have, well, basically just the entire soap mold filled up. And I already know that I have made too much soap. You would definitely need to downsize your recipe if you do something like this, because these little soap cubes displace a lot of the room in your mold. Now we're gonna come in again with some more white, just kind of place it on top of the blue, and I'll smooth that out with my spatula. But from now on, I'm just going to speed up the footage a little bit because it's basically going to be the same thing over and over and over again until the entire loaf is filled up. My soap loaves are sitting off to the side now, so I have mixed up my soap frosting and now I'm going to color it. I haven't added any titanium dioxide because I want the colors to be really, really vivid. And because if I left the soap completely uncolored, it would go sort of a whitish color anyway because all of the oils tend to be sort of white colored as is. So not adding any titanium dioxide, just going to blend these up. Then we're gonna wait for them to thicken and then I'll start adding them to the piping bag. The colors that I use today are Really Red Mica from Nurture, Orange Vibrance from Nurture, True Yellow from TKB, Purple Vibrance from Nurture, Brilliant Blue from Nurture, and Green Vibrance from Nurture. I have put my piping bag in what is actually a flower vase that I got from the Books. And this is just to keep the piping bag completely open the entire time that I'm filling it. So I'm gonna start with the purple. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna smear it up on the side and it'll start to fall a little bit and that's completely fine. I'm gonna do about half of my cup. See, I have half of it still left in there. Then we're gonna move to the blue. I'm gonna put the blue here right next to it. And again, put about half the cup. Gonna move to green next, then yellow. Oopsie. Now I'm gonna put the orange in there next to the yellow. And if you're a beginner with soap frosting, holding your piping bag open with some sort of a tall thing like a vase is a really good way to begin. That way you're not having to hold it with your hand. And we're gonna put the red right here between the purple and the orange. And I'm gonna open up the top here. I'm gonna pull it out sideways. I twisted the bottom to keep it from falling through. Now I'm just gonna twist the top again and we're gonna start piping the top of the soap. I am so excited for this moment, you guys. I'm pretty sure I've never actually done like a rainbow piping before. Oh yes, and I do know that a good bit of the purple is gonna come through by itself because that was the first color that I put in. So I'm just gonna put those in the middle. Some of the blue is mixed in there. You probably just can't see it yet. Fill up that middle bit. Now we got some green starting to come out and some blue. Good, now we have a little bit of yellow coming through. So a good majority of the colors are present. So now I can start piping the outside edge. Oh, look, there comes the orange and the red too. Yippee! Got some red in there, got some blue, and the colors aren't very muddled. They're pretty distinct, which is good. I'm gonna twist it a little so there's some purple on the outside too. Some orange on the inside. We'll do the same over here. Make sure some of that orange and some of that red is getting on the outside and on the inside. My piping bag is mostly empty now, so I'm gonna do the same thing that I did before. I'm gonna twist it at the bottom and I'm gonna fill it up with the rest of the colors I have. This one is a little less precise and a little more marbled just because, well, that's just the way it's gonna go. It's a lot harder to get 6 very even bits on there whenever you're only trying to fill your bag twice, which is typically what I try to do when I am piping 2 soap loaves. That way my piping doesn't set up too fast. Coming in for this next set here, just putting the next 2 on top. Every single one of these soaps is going to be very unique, and all of them should have a little bit of every single color. So there's not gonna be one that's just like exclusively purple and blue. Now for the final little dollop, which should be more red and orange and yellow, which looks really cool on top of that purple and blue. Last round here, I filled it up with all the last tiddly bits of soap that I had left in those little plastic cups. I'm gonna put a few last little dollops here on this one. I think these colors that are coming through this time are a little less muddled than those other ones. Wonderful! Now that the rainbow piping is on, I can add the soap gumball embeds. They are just pure white to match the inside of the soap. So I'm gonna place one of those on top of every single bar here. There's a few little places where the green soap is here on the piping that looks a little gross, but again, if you have watched me before, you know that the greens that I use look kind of nasty the day that I make it, and then it turns into a very bright, vivid green the next day. So those will look a lot prettier tomorrow. These ones here on the end, these are my favorite. They look so cool, the purple and the red together. Maybe I should just do like a purple and red piped soap on top. I could call it like, I don't know, masquerade or something like that. Court jester. All of the embeds are in now, so I'm going to add a little bit of white biodegradable glitter on top. We are going to spritz the top with rubbing alcohol to seal it all in, and then we're done. So this is what they look like up close. Again, do not be fooled by that icky green color because it's gonna turn bright green tomorrow. I am so thrilled. They look so cool, and I think adding the little white soap gumball on top was probably the best idea, so it doesn't take away from the rainbow piping, and every single bar and every single side looks completely different. It's awesome. So I'm gonna wait 18 to 24 hours to cut these suckers up after this quick commercial break. We are back the next day to cut the soap, and as you can see, the green is looking a lot better this morning. Everything is looking a little healthier in general. I'm going to line it up here with my single wire cutter, pull it out, and this is what the soap looks like on the inside. Bring you in for a little close-up on that piping up there. Eee! I just love it. And then there's the rainbow gradient. And here is my design sheet. Originally, I thought I might make it in a triangle shape, but after I started putting it in, I decided I didn't like that as much. So here's what it looks like as compared to the design I made. Pretty darn close. Pull off another one here. This is what it looks like. Every single one of them is gonna look a little different. And of course, any little sticky bits that I currently have right now will harden up, and we'll clean them all up to make the bars look perfect before we package them. So the question of the day is the one that I asked before. It's, do you pronounce it sherbet or sherbet? I hope there's a lot of people who say sherbet so that I don't feel so alone. To vote on the question of the day, you can click the I in the upper right-hand corner of the screen. These soaps are going to be available on August 6th. It's a Monday, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Y'all, this particular bar though, OMG. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. This is probably my favorite rainbow soap I have ever done. If you enjoyed it, please give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel. Leave me a comment down below. I really like putting those teeny tiny little embeds in there. We could do so many different colors for that, you guys. So many different colors. And until next time, I hope you all have an absolutely royal day, and bye for now.